Pottery is a wonderful craft. It's about making beautiful things. It's also very therapeutic. The feel of clay in your hands is grounding. Shaping it into something new is satisfying. Pottery allows for creativity. It teaches patience. The end result? A piece of art you made yourself. Many people find pottery intimidating. Don't. It's easier than you think. With practice, anyone can make pottery. This guide will show you how. We will go step by step from choosing clay to the final firing. Let's begin this exciting journey. The first step is choosing your clay. There are many types of clay. Each has different properties. Earthenware is great for beginners. It's easy to work with. Stoneware is stronger. It's fired at a higher temperature. Porcelain is very fine. It's also the most challenging to work with. When choosing clay, check for lumps. Lumps will make your pottery weak. Air bubbles are also bad. They can cause your pottery to explode in the kiln. Ask your supplier for help if needed. They can guide you to the right clay for your project. Before you start, you must prepare the clay. This is called kneading. Kneading removes air bubbles. It also ensures the clay has an even consistency. Start by wedging the clay. This involves pushing and rolling it. Then use the ram's head technique. This involves pushing the clay with your knuckles. Knead the clay for several minutes. It's ready when it feels smooth. It should be like Play-Doh. If it's too dry, add a little water. If it's too wet, add more dry clay. Properly kneaded clay is crucial. It will prevent problems later. Now comes the fun part, shaping. There are three main techniques. The pottery wheel is the most well-known. It creates symmetrical shapes. Think mugs, bowls, and plates. Hand building involves pinching, coiling, and slab building. It's great for organic shapes. Molds are used to create uniform pieces. The best method depends on your project and your skill level. Beginners often start with hand building. It's a great way to get a feel for the clay. As you progress, you can try the wheel. Each method has its challenges and rewards. Section 5. The drying process. Patience is key. In this section, we will delve into the crucial stage of drying your pottery pieces. This step is often overlooked, but it is one of the most important phases in pottery making. Without proper drying, all your hard work can literally go up in smoke. Once your piece is shaped, it needs to dry. This is important. The drying process is not just about waiting. It's about ensuring that the moisture content in the clay is reduced evenly and gradually. This helps in maintaining the integrity of the piece. If the clay is not dry, it will explode in the kiln. This is because the remaining moisture turns into steam, which expands rapidly and causes the clay to burst. This can be both dangerous and disheartening, especially after spending hours crafting your piece. Drying should be done slowly. Rushing this process can lead to cracks and other imperfections. The key is to allow the moisture to escape gradually, giving the clay time to adjust and settle into its new form. Place your piece in a well-ventilated area. Avoid direct sunlight. Direct sunlight can cause the outer layers of the clay to dry too quickly, while the inner layers remain wet. This uneven drying can lead to warping and cracking. It can cause the clay to dry too quickly and crack. Cracks are not just unsightly, they can also weaken the structure of your piece, making it more prone to breaking during firing or even during use. The drying process can take several days. Patience is essential here. Depending on the size and thickness of your piece, it might take anywhere from a few days to a couple of weeks for the clay to dry completely. It depends on the thickness of the clay. Thicker pieces will naturally take longer to dry than thinner ones. It's important to monitor the drying process and make adjustments as needed to ensure even drying. The clay is dry when it's no longer cool to the touch. This is a simple yet effective way to check if your piece is ready for the kiln. If it still feels cool, it means there's still moisture inside. It will also be lighter in color. As the moisture evaporates, the clay will change color, usually becoming lighter. This is another indicator that your piece is ready for the next stage. Once dry, you can do some finishing touches. This is the time to refine your piece, smooth out any rough edges, and add any final decorative elements. You can smooth rough edges or add decorations. These final touches can make a significant difference in the overall appearance and quality of your piece. Remember, patience and attention to detail are key to creating beautiful, durable pottery. Section 6. The first firing, Bisque and Its Purpose. In the world of pottery, the first firing is a crucial step that transforms raw clay into a more durable form. This process is known as bisque firing, and it serves several important purposes in the journey of creating beautiful ceramic pieces. Now it's time for the first firing. The pottery artist carefully places the dried clay pieces into the kiln, ensuring that each piece is positioned to allow for even heating. This step is essential to prevent any warping or cracking during the firing process. This is called bisque firing. The term bisque refers to the initial firing of the clay, which removes all the moisture and organic materials, making the pottery more stable and easier to handle. The pottery is placed in a kiln. The kiln is then sealed and the firing process begins. The artist must monitor the kiln closely to ensure that the temperature rises at a controlled rate. The kiln is slowly heated to a high temperature. This gradual increase in temperature is crucial to avoid thermal shock, which can cause the clay to crack or explode. For bisque firing, the temperature is around 1800 degrees Fahrenheit. This high temperature hardens the clay, making it more durable and less fragile. The bisque firing process also burns off any remaining organic materials, leaving the clay porous and ready to absorb glaze. It makes it ready for glazing. The porous nature of bisque-fired pottery allows the glaze to adhere more effectively, ensuring a smooth and even finish in the final product. Bisque firing takes several hours. The length of time required for bisque firing can vary depending on the size and thickness of the clay pieces, as well as the specific type of clay being used. It's important to follow the kiln's instructions carefully. Each kiln has its own set of guidelines and recommended firing schedules, which must be adhered to in order to achieve the best results. After firing, let the kiln cool completely before opening. This cooling period is just as important as the firing itself, as it allows the clay to gradually adjust to the lower temperature, preventing any sudden changes that could cause damage. Once cool, you can remove your pottery. The bisque-fired pieces will be much stronger and easier to handle than the raw clay, making them ready for the next steps in the pottery making process. It will be a pale, chalky white. This distinctive appearance is a result of the firing process, which removes all the moisture and organic materials from the clay. It's now ready for glazing. The bisque-fired pottery is now prepared to receive the glaze, which will add color, texture, and a protective layer to the final piece. The artist can now experiment with different glaze techniques to achieve the desired effect. Section 7. Glazing, adding color and shine. This is where the magic truly happens, transforming your pottery from a simple clay piece into a vibrant work of art. Glazing is where you add color and shine to your pottery. It's an essential step that not only enhances the visual appeal, but also adds a layer of protection to your creations. Glaze is a thin coating of glass. This glassy layer is created by mixing various minerals and chemicals which melt and fuse during the firing process, giving your pottery a glossy, colorful finish. It's applied to the bisque-fired pottery. Bisque firing is the first firing that hardens the clay, making it ready to absorb the glaze. This step is crucial as it ensures the glaze adheres properly. You can brush it on, dip it, or pour it. Each method offers different effects and levels of control, allowing you to experiment and find the technique that best suits your artistic vision. There are endless glaze colors and finishes, from matte to glossy, opaque to translucent. The possibilities are limitless. You can mix and match to create unique combinations that reflect your personal style. Experiment to find your favorites. Testing different glazes on small sample pieces can help you understand how they react in the kiln, ensuring you achieve the desired results on your final pieces. When glazing, leave the bottom unglazed. This is important because the glaze can melt and fuse to the kiln shelf during firing, ruining both your pottery and the kiln shelf. This is where the pottery sits in the kiln. The unglazed bottom ensures that your piece can be easily removed after firing without sticking to the shelf. If the glaze touches the kiln shelf, it will stick. This can cause significant damage to both your pottery and the kiln, making it essential to keep the bottom free of glaze. You can use wax to protect the bottom. Applying a thin layer of wax resist to the base of your pottery can prevent glaze from adhering to it, ensuring a clean, smooth finish. Once glazed, your pottery is ready for the final firing. This firing will melt the glaze, creating a beautiful glassy surface that enhances both the appearance and durability of your piece. The final firing is a critical step that brings your artistic vision to life, transforming your hard work into a finished masterpiece. Section 8, the final firing, transforming the glaze. The final firing is similar to bisque firing, but the temperature is much higher. It can reach up to 2,400 degrees Fahrenheit. This high heat melts the glaze, it fuses it to the pottery surface. This creates the shiny, glass-like finish. The final firing also takes several hours. Again, follow the kiln's instructions carefully. Cooling is just as important as heating. Let the kiln cool completely before opening. This prevents thermal shock. Thermal shock can crack your pottery. Section 9. Cooling and finishing the final touches. Once the kiln is cool, you can finally see your finished pottery. Carefully remove your pieces from the kiln. You may notice a thin line of glaze on the bottom. This is normal. It can be easily removed with a sanding pad. Now you can add any finishing touches. You can polish your pottery with a soft cloth. This will enhance the shine. If you use metallic glazes, you may need to seal them. This will prevent tarnishing. And that's it. You've created a beautiful piece of pottery. Section 10. Conclusion. Embrace the journey of pottery. Pottery is a journey. It's about learning and experimenting. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. They are part of the process. With each piece you create, you'll gain more skill and confidence. Remember to be patient. Enjoy the process. Most importantly, have fun. Pottery is a wonderful way to relax, to express your creativity, and to create something beautiful. So find some clay, get your hands dirty, and start creating.